Let me show you how to knit the Purlinade hat. Get your bulky yarn, a loom, and the rest of your supplies. Hey, it's Denise from ôHë.com. For more information, visit the website or see the description below. Alright guys, let's begin with the cast on. First, secure your yarn to the anchor peg. I'm going to be doing a simple knot. You can do a slip knot if you want. And you can go to the left or to the right. I'm going to go to the right. And we're going to wrap every peg. You're then going to knit a row of the U-wrap knit stitch, and so you half wrap your peg and then you knit off. Again, you take your working yarn and half wrap your peg and knit off, and continue to do that for all of your pegs. When you knit off that last peg, you're done with your cast on and you're ready for rows 1 through 8, where you will do a knit 1, purl 1 pattern. But first, let's remove the knot from the anchor peg. You're going to take that strand of yarn behind the first peg and then get your working yarn, and we're going to knit peg 1. So you're going to half wrap, because we're using the U-wrap version of the knit stitch, and knit off. You're going to go to the peg next to that knit 1 and you're going to do a purl 1. So you take the yarn under the existing loop. With your hook, you're going to scoop up and create a new loop. You take the old loop off the peg, you put the new one on, and you pull. Let's do that again up close. You're going to half wrap that knit, and as you see, I'm using stitch markers, so I've marked my knit stitches with stitch markers. I knit off my knit 1. I go to the peg next to it, and I'm going to do a purl stitch. So I scoop up and create a new loop. I'm then going to take the old loop off that peg and put a new loop on, and I pull. And then I'm going to continue that pattern, that knit 1, purl 1 pattern. Here's my knit 1 and there's my purl 1. And you need to continue this peg for all of your 41 pegs on your loom. And then on these last two, because it's an odd number loom, I'm going to do 2 purls. And you should be using an odd number loom. It makes the pattern of the Purl-in-8 so much better. And you're going to continue to do this. That was your first row. You need 8 rows in total. When you're done with those 8 rows, you're ready for rows 9 through 26, where you'll do the Purl-in-8 stitch. To do this, you're going to take the yarn from the existing peg, which was the last one you knitted, go forward and half wrap that peg, go back, half wrap that peg, and now you're going to take the 2 loops on the bottom over the top and knit off those 2 pegs. You're then going to take the yarn that is behind and bring it forward, and you're going to do a purl stitch on this peg. So scoop up the existing loop, create a new one, take the old loop off, and put the new loop on. So I'm going towards the right. That's how I'm headed. So I first wrap that peg, go back and wrap the last one, and knit off those 2 pegs, bring my working yarn forward, and I'm going to do a purl stitch. That's why it's called the Purl-in-8, because first you're going to do a figure 8 stitch and then you're going to do a purl. So we're going to do that figure 8 again. You're going to take your working yarn and you're going to wrap the peg in front in the direction that you're heading, then go backwards and wrap that other peg and knit off those 2 pegs. You're always working 2 pegs at a time, and purl the peg that's in front, right, in the direction that you are heading. And I'm going to show you that again, because this stitch, even though it's pretty simple, it's a good thing to look at it a few times, because hey, sometimes we forget what we just did. I do. And so here is that purl stitch. And remember that you always knit the one in front first in the direction that you're going, and then you go back. Then you come forward. So forward, back, knit off, forward with the purl. Forward, back, knit off, purl. Keep doing that. Remember that this is row number 9, and you're going to need to finish with row 26, which in total is 17 rows of the purl in 8, right? This ends your row right here, and now I'm starting a new one. There we go. Again, that starts a new row. So I want you to know, where do you start a new row? This is it. When you get to that front peg, and you need to do that 17 times in total. So 8 rows of the rib stitch, which is the knit 1 purl 1, and then 17 rows of the purl in 8. You're welcome to do more if you want a longer, slouchier hat. This one would end up with being an 11-inch length hat. And then you're ready for row 27, or you're just going to knit the row. So just half wrap and knit off, and half wrap and knit off, and you're going to do that for your 41 pegs. You're going to knit this row. Alright, once you're done with knitting your row, you're ready for the last part, which will be your bind off. So I did want to let you guys know that I do prefer to use the hacked flat drawstring cast off, but to make things easier on this video, I'm going to show you the gathered method. So we're going to take the working yarn and wrap it around the loom at least 1.5 times. Then go ahead and cut the working yarn, and I'm going to use my needle for this cast off. You're welcome to use your hook if that's easier. So you're going to take the yarn, the working yarn, you're going to feed it from the bottom up. And I do slant my needle a little bit. It just makes things easier, and I do hold on to the loop that is on the peg. Once you've done all of your loops, you'll be ready to take those off the pegs. Once you're done taking the loops off of the pegs, then put the loom to the side, grab the drawstring and pull on it to start closing that top opening on your hat. And it's going to be a bit tough because it's chunky yarn. Take the needle, feed it through the hole, and turn your hat inside out. Then pull on it, and with your needle you're going to feed that drawstring through the cast off loops. As you do that, you pull and sew and pull and sew until you've closed the opening as tight as possible. It does close up pretty good. Just keep sewing in a circle those top loops and pulling on a drawstring. Once you feel like it's closed enough, go ahead and make a knot. If you are not putting a pom-pom, you can just cut the drawstring right there. But if you are going to put a pom-pom, then put the yarn, the working yarn, back to the front of your loom, and you will use it to attach the pom-pom. Now I am tightening my cast on loops. You don't have to. But once you're done, you need to weave in the ends. So with a needle, go ahead and finish this top portion, and then feed that working yarn upwards through the inside loops like this. And I'll give you a link on how to tighten those cast on loops. You don't have to do this. This is optional. The hat looks just fine. I just like to tighten them. And once I've gone up at least a few inches, then I start going downward. And this is just my method of securing the yarn a bit better. And once I feel okay, I get my scissors, pull on that string, and then cut, and it'll disappear. And you are done with your Purl in 8 knot crochet hat. Hope you like it. Thanks for watching the video. Please share it. That helps me a lot. Remember to like, comment, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe.